Welcome to the hotkeys tutorial. We're gonna jump straight into it in a practice deathmatch here. The first hotkey that's important is using the shift hotkey, and the basics of that is obviously holding down shift and you right click to spam scout in more places. Highly useful in supremacy matches, especially as Greek. So you select your scout and you shift click all over the mini map so you never have to worry about scouting again. That's one type of shifting. The other very important type of shifting is if this was a supremacy match, I could make a granary, and as I throw it down, I press shift, and then I keep holding the shift down and right click on hunt. And then those guys will hunt a specific deer right after. Or, more importantly, if I'm throwing down a storehouse in between a gold mine and a forest, villagers always automatically gather gold. So it's important to throw down the storehouse, press shift before I actually throw it down, and then right click on the trees so that my villagers go chop wood. So anyways, you can use shift for obviously any type of reason when you queue up more commands. Now, another important thing is going to be creating 5 units at a time by once again holding down shift. So I'm actually going to play this deathmatch a little bit. Just so we get a nice tutorial, but I shift click villagers, and so thus 5 villagers are being created. Shift click anything and 5 are created. If you need to sell resources in the market, you can use shift to sell 500 at a time. Very useful. Now another very important thing, to me at least, is garrisoning. I don't have right click garrisoning enabled, which you can always enable right in the options here. Somewhere. I feel like it's right in front of me, but I don't see it. But I don't like right click. I don't like where if I right click my town center, my villagers go in it. That's too distracting for me. I like to command my villagers to, you know, go to my town center sometimes or whatever. But anyway, so the hotkey is Alt. If you hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and then you right click any building, that's how you garrison inside of it. Specifically the town center. If you hold down Alt, right click to go into it and garrison in, you can now press the N hotkey to ungarrison. And it's a kind of a buggy thing sometimes, but it works when you basically before your villagers have started gathering anything at the beginning of the game. If you garrison in your town center, you can still press N and go to the other side, but see, already at this point they start gathering favor. So when I press N, even though they ungarrison here, they automatically start going back there. So it's a bit buggy like that, or hard to understand. But the reason why this hotkey combination is super useful is if your town center is under attack, you can garrison in it, and as soon as you ungarrison, as long as your villagers are repairing right now, as soon as you ungarrison, they're gonna automatically be repairing again. So all you need to do is press Alt-S on your villagers, and then they're standing ground. They're not going to be moving away when they're under attack. So Alt-S, repair, and then garrison, ungarrison. Your villagers will ungarrison, repairing, and standing ground at the same time. Super useful. Alright, let's see these hotkeys in action. Alt-S villagers, I'm repairing. Garrison inside. Let's see if this town center can be saved. Oh, I screwed up the hotkeys. Hold on, let's try it one more time. So my goal, obviously, is to garrison in the villagers that are under fire, save them from fire, and then ungarrison them on a different side of the town center. This way, the enemy cannot easily kill my villagers. I just missed micro this one siege tower, but I'm just going to show you guys that this is a doable challenge. It all comes down to the micro. So as long as I micro away the hurt villagers, then everything should be okay. And repair the town center. There we go. Success. That is the villager micro, as you can see. Success. This is a typical scenario you will encounter versus Egyptian players. That's where this comes most in handy. Let's keep going though. I'm actually going to play this matchup and try to win so we can shift through a few hotkeys here. So I'm just going to make some villagers and whatnot. Deathmatch, obviously the key is just to mass up as many units as possible. But let's go into building hotkeys. It's important to know building hotkeys as well. Temple is T. Military barracks for any civilization is B as in boy. Of course, the archery range is A. And A also applies to... Actually, no, I think that's it. A is just archery range. So, armories are... more importantly, if you have idle villagers, the hotkey is dot. So I'm just going to create an idle here. I'm going to make my scout idle as well. So dot is civilian idols, comma is military idols. So you can always cycle back through those hotkeys, especially late game in whatever matchup you're playing. It's very useful to go through idle military specifically, so you don't get lost military all over the place. Now, the same thing applies for heroes. The hotkey for idle heroes, or the hotkey for heroes in general, is the slash key. I think it's not just idols, but it's a general hotkey. I gotta test it out in just a second. Hotkey for granary is G. Useful to place it down right away. And hotkey for storehouse is M or N. In extended edition, I'm pretty sure it's only M. They removed one of the useful hotkeys for it, so try to use M for storehouse. And the same applies for Egypt mining camp. It's M. And for Egypt lumber camps, it's N, as in Nancy. For Atlantis, G is economic guild, just like the granary for every other civilization. And finally, for Norse, G is ox carts. Now, the reason I'm spamming all these hotkeys to you guys is because you can apply the same hotkeys by pressing down Control and shifting through the buildings or units. So Control T, the hotkey for temple, all you do is press Control and press the hotkey for the building, and now you can cycle directly onto it. Z is the hotkey for town center. So Control Z, I can press that for town center. Control T, temple. Control B, military academy. Control A, archery range. Let me actually try to pull up an on-screen keyboard for you guys. It might be easier to see what's going on. So if I let's see, if I press Control, yeah, there we go. Let me see if this works. Control A. Yeah, okay, so now you guys can see what keys I'm pressing, except it's only showing the control for some reason. But anyhow, that's that. So now I've got idle heroes. And even for non-idle heroes, you can just press the slash key. Very interesting. Now here's where the game gets important to create hotkeys. I like to put all of my military buildings onto one hotkey. Control 1. So in order to do that, you just select military buildings and you do shift 1 to add it onto a hotkey group. Obviously, when you're creating a hotkey group, you just select a group of units and press Control and a number on the keyboard. So now 3 is my hotkey group for that. 1 is my hotkey group for military buildings. The reason why this is super useful is for micro-intensive purposes. You'll definitely need to utilize these hotkeys when you have a real army or anything as such. Now, cycling through buildings such as Control R, Control T, and all that is very useful when spamming upgrades. So unfortunately, deathmatch, this is not a good example. We don't need any upgrades. But I will play another match of Supremacy where upgrades are going to be crucial. Here's another interesting one. You have an army here, but you only want to select a few certain units. For example, let's say I only want the hoplites and the toxos from this army. So an easy way to unselect units is by pressing Control, and now you can click on that unit to unselect it. So let's do that same thing over and again, but clicking on the icons. Control, unselect the heroes. There we go. Now it's only these guys. Let's do the same thing, but pressing Shift. Okay, never mind. So yeah, if you press Control, you can unselect more units. Or, if I've only selected these guys, I can press Control to add more units into the selection. Very useful if you need to split your armies up or something like that. So Control, you can individually select units. But I want to go on to a more useful hotkey thing, which would be in a lightning match. So I highly recommend for you guys, if you want to practice your hotkeys from this video, play a lightning match. You can play versus Titan. 1 versus 1 lightning. It will be the most hotkey intensive, micro intensive match ever. I guarantee you. Because you need to spam cycle through all buildings to upgrade everything. So you'll see what I mean after this game. But once again, I gotta show a really quick important hotkey, which is the letter B. So if you're gathering sheep from near your town center, for example, and you've upgraded husbandry, so it takes a long time to drop off your food, an important hotkey is B, as in the town bell. You ring in, you unring. So you ring in to drop off resources, and you unring right away as soon as they dropped off resources. Because then you quickly drop off resources. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So these are all the very important, very useful hotkeys. All the rest, like unit hotkeys, are less important. All you gotta do is look at the unit to find the hotkey. I will go through a few of them as we're playing Greek right now. R is the hotkey for Helipoli. C is the hotkey for Petropolis. Also catapults is Egypt. C. All the rest, you know, comes to a very specific thing, but the heroes are A, S, D, F. So it's literally just these 4 keys on your keyboard. A, S, D, F. Very easy to press right here. A, S, D, F. It's making a sound when I click. It's weird. Yeah, I definitely won't finish this match just because I don't have the Earthquake God power. I was hoping I get it right away. But whatever. Those are all the highly useful hotkeys, like I said. So I'm just going to close this match, open another one. And of course, I just have to mention, when your villagers are carrying a resource, and you make a resource site, a storehouse, they will drop off those resources right away. But the resources obviously have to be correspondent to the storehouse. Same thing applies to town center. When you construct a town center, they drop all resources off right away. So if I'm carrying wood and I create a storehouse, they drop off the resources. But obviously I'm carrying wood, I make a granary, they're not going to drop off the resources. That trick does not apply to this game. For all you Age of Empires 2 players, sorry my voice, in Age of Empires 2 that trick does apply. So, just a heads up. But this is Age of Mythology, different game. Anyways, I will go into a lightning match now. Let's check it out. Lightning match. I'll go Greek. I'll go Greek, just so we require a lot of extra hotkeys like storehouses and whatnot. Titan, 1 versus 1. Lightning. I hope this on-screen keyboard is not going to be in the way for you guys. So yeah, I recommend for you guys, if you are, you know, an amateur player or a noob or an intermediate player who's trying to learn to become a professional, go random god, 1 versus 1 lightning versus Titan versus human players, doesn't matter. You will practice the most important set of learning hotkeys, and once you learn hotkeys, you can learn the micro hardcore. Here we go. HV. Oh, this is definitely in the way. And it's not showing when I'm pressing the keys, so doesn't matter. So anyways, a lightning game, just a heads up, you have to play just like a supremacy match. So I'm going for hunt, you know, hunting dogs, same thing. It's the same type of thing. I forget if it's automatically revealed or if I enabled this a while ago, but anywho, lightning is just super fast. ALT+Rclick Garrison, I pressed N to ungarrison, and here we go. Shift scout everywhere as if my map was not already scouted. Control G for the granary. Hunting dogs. Let's go. Putting 6 or so onto food. I'm just putting 6. Putting the storehouse in between the wood and the gold to save resources. And that's about it. I'm playing this just like a supremacy match, but my resources will be depleted hyper fast. That's the thing. A useful thing you can do if you know your resource site is about to be depleted, simply shift click from the last deer and send your villagers onto another resource site. Okay, while I got time I can check the relics right now. Cheaper caravans, faster. Hoplites, stronger. And what about this one? Not useful. Okay, so I don't need these relics too much on gold. I need more on food to advance. I'll try to rush this AI. Control G, husbandry, let's go. Upgrading things right away is useful in lightning because your goal is to max out your villagers. There's no delay. You can actually max out your villagers all in the first age before advancing, no problem. But I'm going to advance right now. Control N is what I press for storehouse. Now I'm upgrading hand axe, pickaxe, obviously. And M for another storehouse. Okay, time to make some military. He is Egypt. Heroic age. It's very useful to go fast heroic in lightning because then you can pull off caravans, max those out as well, and then you have even more units to play with. I need an armory. So R, armory, and Control S for my stable. I'm pressing C for Hippocon, Control A for archery range, T for toxotes. And I'm just auto queuing them as I should. Control N, upgrading that. Standard stuff here. I think you guys understand the hotkeys now. I'm only going to say the hotkeys if I'm pressing a brand new one that I haven't pressed before. So E is for houses. That's another very useful one. You can E shift click all houses down and then you don't have to worry about them. I don't know why, but I don't have much gold. Super weird. So I'm going to go up heroic and make a really, really nice trade route. I'll have to take this town center and then build a market back here kind of thing. Okay, so obviously, micro your archers against units, and your military can attack a building if needed. Okay, so Z is the hotkey there for my town center, X is the hotkey for market, and I will build more Neiman lines because they're very powerful units. It's very useful as Aphrodite to upgrade this Divine Blood upgrade. Also, I'm going to upgrade my Favor Gathering upgrade. Okay, he's got way too much military there. So once again, Control S and Control A for the buildings here. And I'm just upgrading medium units because it's absolutely necessary in this situation. Greek heroes. Definitely needed. Always make your Greek heroes if you can afford them. Okay, F is the farm hotkey. Very obvious one. Now, obviously, guys, you can always just double check hotkeys. I mean, you don't have to memorize everything right away. If you don't know the hotkeys yet, you can always just check it later and come back to it. You'll know it eventually, you know, it'll take some time. Now, I'm doing pretty bad in this. It is a Titan, so he does have a massive resource advantage. But this is why I recommend playing versus a Titan on Lightning. It's great practice, very difficult. I might actually lose this one, to be honest. I'm used to playing as Atlantis, but the point is not winning this. The point is just practicing useful hotkeys right now. But anyways, guys, I don't want to stretch this video any longer. I want it to be clear, concise, super useful. That's it. That's the entire hotkey guide. So the next level thing I recommend is basically creating 2 different armies. This is for a quick mid-game thing, like about 7 minutes in a supremacy match. Create 2 different control groups for armies and raid in 2 different areas. So I'm going to have control group number 3 and 4. So I can switch between 3 and 4 to raid in 2 different areas. Obviously, you got to go for villager picks normally. So I'm really going to scout around with both armies and try to attack his villagers. That'll be the normal situation. It's not going to happen in this one. The computer's way too far ahead for me to comfortably play this one out. Now, aside from hotkeys, as a general supremacy strategy guide, after the first gold mine is used up, always aim to attack the enemy's gold miners of their second gold mine. Always gold starve the enemy. But that's it for this match. I have definitely run out of luck on this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the hotkey tutorial guide. I did go through absolutely everything I need. Oh, one more thing with the shift hotkey is if you have a relic, a number of relics that you want to pick up, here's the best way to do it. So I'm just going to throw down a lot of relics here. A lot of relics. I can only put 5 into the temple, but it's okay. I'm just going to put a lot of relics, make sure enemy is alive. Okay, so the best way to drop off relics on a map like Marsh is you basically shift click here, shift click back, shift click here, shift click back. And as you can see, now I'm not even clicking. My hero is going to pick up every single relic that I clicked on because I shift clicked on the relic and back to the temple, back to the relic, back to the temple. You can do this on any map, anytime. You shift click all your relics back to temple. So it's just like scouting. You just take the time once to set it all up. You know, you look all across the map at every single useful relic, and then you just shift click on that back to the temple. It's that simple. So never individually click relics back to your temple again if you have to drop off a lot. You can just shift click all the relics back to the temple. And that's it. That about wraps up our strategy guide for today. I hope I helped you guys out a lot, especially if you don't use hotkeys yet. It's very important to utilize hotkeys when you're playing the game because it speeds up your playstyle a lot. It ramps up your skill level. It just makes you a much better player. So that is it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys another time, another day, another rhyme on delay.